wanted to explore and to see how it would draw people to our city. So, okay, we have this in place, so now, okay, what do we need to do next to help with this flooding use? Nobody's worried about if you are a Republican, Democrat, or Independent. We're always focused on how do we make things work.
The first thing I want to ask you about, you just had a big event, the barbecue festival on the Neuse. Tell me about how that went and maybe looking ahead to the next one, if you can.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. It's good to be here. Barbecue festival on the Neuse, it's always a hit. We are excited, and we work on it every single year. There's a lot of great folks that are behind the scenes putting in the work, and I do appreciate their efforts every single year. We have 30 to 50,000 folks that show up, and I'm just extremely excited about who showed up this time, which is the World Book of Guinness Records. A gentleman came down from New York, and we were able to, blow past the record for selling the most barbecue sandwiches in 8 hours, which was over 4,700, and we actually sold out in 3 hours. So we were able to achieve and get that certificate or recognition as the World Book of Guinness Records for selling the most barbecue sandwiches in an 8-hour period, but we sold out in 3 hours. So very excited about that, and we look forward to what is to come in the future as it relates to the barbecue festival and how do we make it even better. I think we had a lot of things going on at the barbecue festival. You had helicopters flying, you had rides, things of that nature, a lot of great food. So we are excited about that and how to make it better. The committee has to put in even more work now to make it even better, because now we have raised ourselves to a standard, and we want to make sure that we stay there.
How does it feel? Because I believe you guys put out a call to everyone saying, hey, help us break this record. And when you saw that people showed up and showed out and broke that so quickly, what was just your reaction?
I was excited because I know community will come together in the time that we need it most. And we're resilient to that, however. And once they came out and people were buying, and there is a formula, however, you can't buy more than 10, so per person. So people were buying 10 at a time, at the max, and trying to get us to that number, and I'm extremely grateful for them, and that just lets me know how good the community can come together at such times to make something great happen in our community.
How do events like this one help bring a spotlight to Kinston?
Well, we always want to see positive spotlight. We always want to be a destination. We always want to have something that nobody else has, because that draws people to our city. So we're excited to be able to put things out or to put some different options on the table for those that are traveling throughout the state of North Carolina, and hopefully say, okay, we're going to Kinston today to one of the restaurants. We're going to Kinston today for the barbecue festival on the Neuse. We're going to Kinston today for one of our parks to take a look at our arts and things of that nature. So I'm excited for all these things that are taking place in our city, and even more excited to be able to showcase the talent that we have in our community.
And what are some ways that you do that? I believe the social district is relatively new, but can you tell me a little bit about that, how it works, and kind of the vision for it?
Yeah, so the social district is a piece where you want to draw folks downtown to be able to not just buy alcohol. You want them to shop in your centers and buy food as well. So it's one of those things where we wanted to give another option to our community, to have folks come downtown to drink responsibly in those clear cups that are assigned with the logo and things of that nature, drink responsibly, So that's one thing that we wanted to put in place to help draw even more folks to our city. Not just the folks that live and work and recreate here, but those that come from different parts of our state. So we thought that would be an attribute to our city, and we're excited to say that it's working good thus far. We have had no problems that I've seen, and I've talked with business owners, and they haven't had any issues thus far, and we hope to keep it that way. We just want to make sure that we have multiple options and things that are different or the same in the eastern part of the state.
So if somebody comes and visits Kinston for the first time, what can they expect there?
Well, what they can do is if they're looking for the social district, of course they know it's downtown for one. So you go Queen Street, Heritage Street type, and you'll see the social district area. You should see labels. You should see restaurant bars that are actually a part of the social district. And they'll be able to tell them, they'll be able to give them the mapping of where to go and who's actually playing a part of the social district. So there's opportunity. It's easy. You know, if you make your way downtown, you'll see if you're near the brewery, our brewery downtown, which is really amazing, by the way. And there's a lot of folks that come to the social district just because of our brewery, and we're excited for that. And we have a distillery as well, also. So we're excited, and we not want to be known for just alcohol, but there are options downtown Kinston if you want to participate in drinking responsibly.
Kind of a like eat, drink, shop kind of idea.
There you go. Eat, drink, shop. Spend all your money in our city. We do welcome that. But we're excited. But we just want to open it up to have some options on the table to be able to say, okay, there is something that we enjoy doing in the city of Kinston. So this is why we're here. And we're going to keep on looking at ways or options to draw people, to draw small businesses to the downtown Kinston area.
What are some things, maybe discussions you've had about maybe expanding the social district or adding things to it or growing on a good thing maybe?
Right, so there has been talks about that, but we want to make sure that we are clicking along the right way and seeing if we need to make any adjustments before we do an expansion, before we expand upon that. But I think we're doing good, and I think there is an opportunity for us to expand depending upon what takes place in the near future. More businesses come, more restaurants come. We look at expanding those areas or offering the opportunity for a social district in the area, provided that the business owner would like to participate in it. So we do look forward to what is to come.
What are some ways, maybe just ideas at this point, but to build on this? Is it recruiting more businesses to the area, or hoping that more local businesses open up, a mix of both, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a mix of both. We're hoping that small businesses open up, period. Not just restaurants or bars. We want to see people with clothing, retail, because this is what people want. And I get that every single day almost. What does it look like for us to have a retail store, retail stores? Even though we do have some downtown, but we look to welcome many more moving forward. So we're excited about those that are interested in being in retail, or have their own boutique or specialized type clothing. We look forward to that. Even public-private partnerships type downtown, and what does that look like? Livability also. Living downtown, having commercial things downtown as well, shopping centers, things that's what we're working towards. So that's the goal, and that's just in our strategic plan, and we're looking to get there. And I think we are taking steps in the right direction to move there.
Why do you think Kinston needed a social district?
Well, I wouldn't say so much needed it. It was something that we wanted to explore and to see how it would draw people to our city, even more so. And we compared it, we looked at other cities and towns across our state that are, that have a social district, and was like, okay, well, how about, can we do this? And then we had many business owners, many bars that were like, hey, we are excited about this, we want to make this happen. And it opened an opportunity, of course, for them to even make more money, however, in the downtown area, and it brings folks from all over to our area. So this is why we are excited about it, even more so. Not so much that we needed it, it's something that we wanted to have or to give an option to the folks that visited our city.
What are some other ways that maybe you or maybe other council members have tried to bring development or growth to Kinston outside of maybe recruiting businesses? What kind of discussions or development opportunities and leadership has happened?
Yeah, so we've had many opportunities. We have industry that come to our city. As I say, the North Carolina Global Trans Park, that's a big deal. I sit on the board of directors there as well, advocating for the things that we need most in the eastern part of the state, which is to grow the NGTP, North Carolina Global Trans Park, as it relates to jobs. You know, if you look at FRC East, the connection that we have with them, the C-130 project, it's a big deal. You know, how do we recruit the mechanics for that? You know, that collaboration we have with Lenore Community College. You know, so we're drawing from every aspect that, you know, possible to draw people for Kinston, Lenore County, and not just Kinston, Lenore County, but the ENC, because what happens is now we're being able to support, you know, our military, the folks that live and work in our community, providing homes, you know, places to work, and an opportunity to recreate. There's a lot of good things going on. And looking at our parks and recreation facilities, the projects we've done there. To name one that we're working on currently is the Emma Webb Park, which we had collaboration with Kinston Teens. We worked with them, American Flood Coalition. So we've had a lot of great things take place and are taking place here in our city. And we just keep pushing forward as to how do we make our city better, well-rounded as it relates to, you know, economic development, industry, infrastructure needs, you know, relating to how do we resurface roads, what type of funding is available there. And just like this year, we have allocated over $1 million as it relates to roads resurfacing, which is not enough, but that's something we're working towards doing. We're going to actually have about 28 inner city streets resurfaced. We're working hand in hand with NCDOT on those projects. Vernon Avenue should be resurfaced also here soon. So there's going to be a lot of activity going on here in the next 30 to 60 days or so. And I'm sure our motoring public is not going to appreciate us being in the roadway, but they're going to appreciate it after it's resurfaced. So we're excited about that. And so we have a lot of great things going in how we recruit and how we look for grant funding, also for our PD side, police department, fire, you know, water sewer infrastructure needs, and then also flooding projects to be put in place to help reduce flooding within the inner city as well. So there's a major project that's been my baby, so to speak, since I actually started. So I've had everybody here taking a look at what it looked like to put a flood model in place, $20 million project. I've advocated for over 13 plus million so far. My city team, my city staff, they're amazing. Our state legislators, federal folks are amazing. So we do appreciate their efforts, and this is why every opportunity we get, I'll be there in Raleigh and or in DC, looking at how we can make it better for not just Kinston, but for our state, Eastern North Carolina, because what happens is now the regional approach is where we are. You know, you get the more bang for your buck when you ask for regional dollars. And so how many folks does this impact? And how can we help the most people at one time?
I do see your posts when you're on the road and you feel that maybe just getting in front of maybe government leaders or maybe these conferences or development opportunities helps bring that attention to Kinston and maybe more resources.
Absolutely, and that's where we are, and this is why I'm always there. It's all about showing up, talking to your legislators, getting to know them, no matter who they are. Nobody's worried about if you are a Republican, Democrat, or Independent. We're always focused on how do we make things work. And that's where I am, that's where I'll always be. So I'm excited about, you know, how to navigate the waters as we move in the next few years, on how to, you know, come to the middle and make things work for the folks that need it most in our city and in our state.
Can you maybe highlight maybe a time that you went out of town, maybe just to get some help for Kinston or talk with people, and how that brought some positive help back to Kinston?
Absolutely. I can give you a few, but one in particular, I was in Washington, D.C., and I was with the American Flood Coalition, and I've been talking with our state folks and federal folks about funding. And we're waiting for a grant to come through and that we apply for. And you know, we had people letters of support and things of that nature, and we were excited about it. So I was in DC and I was with AFC. It was crazy how this worked. I was excited at the same time. I get the call that we received $2 million grant towards a flood model project for the city. And I let them know immediately, and they were excited, and we talked about it in one of the panel discussions we had as it relates to what the options are or what we can tap into to help reduce flooding in our cities and what it looked like across the eastern part of the state as it relates to flooding. So I was super excited about that. So that was $2 million. I even had opportunities, and I spoke with Wells Fargo. I'm walking through the halls and went to other meetings because I hold other leadership positions as well. And I had to walk through the halls, and they said, "Mayor, can you talk to us for a second?" I said, "Yeah, absolutely." Went in the side room, a meeting, we had a conversation about, community engagement, community projects. So I was talking to Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo said, "Okay, Mayor, we'll get back with you when you get back home." Next 2 or 3 days, I called them and said, "Mayor, we want to do a project in the city to help. We want to look at the Habitat for Humanity. We want to look at the east side of Kinston, and we want to do some cleanup and help with building homes, etc. We want to be a resource to you." I said, "Okay." So they granted us $75,000 there. And then also I've talked with United States Conference of Mayors. We have grants that are available there where we're able to help with different projects in our city, especially those organizations like Kinston Teens. They actually applied for a grant as well. I did support letters, and I've talked to our folks at the federal level, and they were able to get a successful grant also for $75,000. These are just, things I'm just naming off based upon me just being there or being engaged or showing up, which is a big deal to me. So this is why I'm so prone on showing up or being in the actual faces of our leaders and talking to those that actually can give me some options or opportunities or templates that I can use, or we like to say steal from each other, to be able to bring it back to our city, to make us look, to figure out how it can work for us. And this is what it's all about, always, looking for ways or opportunities to put things in place and not so much reinvent the wheel, but take what's already invented and formulate it into something that we can use in our city and how we could, push forward and thrive on that.
You mentioned the floodwater project. Can you talk about plans you have moving forward, or maybe discussions among council members or just leadership in Kinston about getting ready for this coming hurricane season?
Absolutely, we always are preparing, and that was the reasoning I ran for mayor in the beginning. It was Hurricane Matthew. Hurricane Matthew was devastating to our city, our state, eastern part of the state. Here in Kinston, we sustained a lot of flooding, torrential downpour, flash flooding consistently. And Hurricane Matthew, I was flooded myself also. So you're talking about 3 to 4 foot of water inside the structure on a low level. However, I was working in law enforcement at that time at UNC Illinois Healthcare, and I was a police supervisor there. And I was riding through the area, pulling people out of water, to include my own wife. And that was a very eventful and not so exciting time. Having the conversations now, being in preparation for storms, is something that is a must. We are prepared to respond. We always have folks in place. And we always have extra shifts, however the case may be, provided that the projection is, how serious it is and, what it doesn't look like, in the incoming days. But we are preparing, and I'm also talking with legislators on the state and federal government as it pertains to what they're going to do to help us build resiliently, and what type of, type models they're going to put in place to help reduce flooding in our city, and not just our city, but like the Neuse River. How does it flow throughout our state? What does that look like? Because there has to be a plan. And talking to our Senator Tom Tillis, and Ted Budd, and all those folks on the Hill, those conversations are very, very near and dear to me. And I would like to say this to them as well. The thing is we have to put something in motion. We have to have a plan to put in motion to help reduce flooding in the state, or otherwise we will continue to spend money on flooding, meaning unnecessary money on flooding. However, to repair the things that we have versus building resiliently or putting projects in place to help reduce flooding. So, but our city is well prepared. Response, swoop point rescue. We have boats. We bought boats also to be able to help out on response in this area and or in the east part of the state or wherever. You know, this is the purpose, you know, behind this to be able to help when we need it most. And we look forward to working with the state, our state partners, you know, and folks all across or out of the state that come down and help us. So we're very prepared, and that's one of the things that I said it was going to happen. I was going to do when I became mayor is to make sure that we're prepared for response, and we have the things necessary to respond. And so we've had that. We've had that so far since Matthew, Florence, East Sciences, you know, several other floods that took place. And however, I do appreciate our governor, Governor Cooper and Governor Stein. I do appreciate their efforts in pushing things forward. Governor checked on us during the storms. You know, I do appreciate that always. So it's all about, you know, being prepared and being able to respond and having enough resources at your fingertips. And this is what we do every single hurricane season. And I can assure you I get uncomfortable during this season, very uncomfortable, and it makes me actually start to talk to our folks even more so about the plans that we need to be putting in place to help reduce flooding, because it is detrimental to our business owners on 70 East, you know, New Sport Shop, you know, all those businesses, King's Restaurant, you know, Piggly Wiggly grocery store over there, you know, hotels over there, you know, so we got to do something, we got to do something different in the future, because hopefully Interstate 42 will be up, and you definitely have to build resiliently when you start talking about putting multi-million or billion-dollar type of infrastructure up in this area. So this is something that we've always been focused on since I've been here for sure, and I'm sure before I arrived. But I can assure you that we've taken an aggressive approach since I've been here, and I'm excited about it. And I do appreciate the team here at the City of Kinston for always doing their due diligence for helping us to prepare our community for storms or whatever happens, even and or getting through or navigating through the pandemic, which is something that was very, very interesting for sure. The most hardest time to govern was during the pandemic, I can assure you. So if I can govern through that, I can govern through anything. That's the way I feel about that. So,
can you give me maybe some highlights, if you can at this point, of just about that $20 million plan? Is it looking at drainage? Is it any maybe structure elevation, or what are some like key points of that to kind of improve what we've got going on?
Yes. So we're looking at, you know, it having an impact across our city. So from the east side all the way up north to the hospital, you're looking at environmental controls, you know, mechanical type controls. Also, what does that look like? We're trying to expand or put something in place in the ditches, however. And how do we push water certain ways and not so much into infrastructure to our communities. It's a plan laid out that it's just the beginning, a $20 million project, but it's going to actually make a difference in the amount of damage that causes during torrential downpour or floods and things of that nature. So we've already, you know, started, you know, the egress of Doctor's Drive area, you know, where now you can actually go through Doctor's Drive and go out the other side. It's a new street we have. That's something that we already put in place because the fire department was saying it was an emergency for sure, or it was an issue, egress type of thing where we're trying to get folks out. But the $20 million project consists of multiple things to put in place to help reduce flooding in the city. Beginning stages to include, you know, impacting the hospital area, all the doctor's offices up this way, north, east side of Kinston, Atkins Street, you know, the Atkins Branch, Canal, all of that area is susceptible to flooding. The Atkins High School area, so all those areas would actually see a major difference once it's in place. And then what we do is build upon that and to make it better and say, okay, we have this in place, so now, okay, what do we need to do next to help with this flooding piece? So as it relates to our parks, I like to call them our beautiful parks here in Kinston, like Pearson Park, which is a big deal, brings housing, actually brings people to the community. There's a lot of people that come to this park, and having parks in our community are very, very important, you know, because our kids want to have a place to come play, our mom, dads, they want to come and sit down and be able to have some shade, to be able to enjoy the kids at the same time. And then we have, at some of our parks, we have some solar panel, you know, charging stations, which are a big deal, you know, moving to that next dimension of technology. And in this particular area, we have the Wi-Fi set up as well. You can access Wi-Fi in our, you know, in our parks. And also that's a draw to our parks and what it relates to housing. The housing that we do have, you can actually walk, it's a walking trail here, and it walks all the way around, and we're looking at trying to connect this to the Nature Center in the very near future under Phase 3 project, which is a big deal for us in Kinston. We would love to see a pedestrian crosswalk or bridge connecting us from this part to the Nature Center, Newsway Nature Center, which is behind us, kind of so to speak, across the Neuse River, which is something that we are all hoping for in the future at some point in time. Of course, it definitely is going to require the collaboration with our state and federal partners and some grant funding that we definitely need. Housing in our city, we are always looking at housing. We never turn down housing. We're always looking at affordable housing, workforce housing, whatever housing, you know, is what we are advocating for every single day. Strategic plan that we have in place is to actually look at areas that we could put housing for the folks that need it, and for those that are actually beyond that level of you know, expertise or executive type office type positions, whoever those folks may be. We want to be able to provide homes for them as well. You know, but we want to be able to have folks that live, work in our community, and actually be able to spend money in our community at the same time. So live, work, recreate, this is what we want. We want people to be able to afford it, and this is why we're here every single day looking at ways or options to figure out, you know, what is the best deal for our underserved communities? What does it look like for those, and you know, our doctors, our lawyers and our attorneys, our, you know, our mechanics, engineers, things of that nature. That's, you know, we have to have it all. We have to have a mixed use type of housing in our community. So, and this is what's, we talked about here recently at our strategic plan meeting, and what we would like to see in the future for Kinston as it relates to housing.
Okay, and tell me about how you guys are bringing jobs to Kinston to kind of spur that economic growth.
Well, as you see it, we work with our local state and federal partners. Whenever we have jobs, we are a very unique city. We have many industry here already, you know, as it relates to, you know, Electrolux, you know, West Pharmaceuticals Company. We have Moen, Sanderson Farm, you know, Crown, you know, several, you know, Fly Exclusive at the airport, you know, Spirit Air, you know. So we're definitely building upon the jobs that we do have, and actually helping recruit through the Economic Development Region, the EDR, which are a group of folks that are actually working for Green Lenore, Jones, Wayne type, to recruit industry here in our city. So we're definitely working with them. On occasion, I get to serve with them at the North Carolina Global Trans Park and to advocate for industry in our city and throughout Kinston, Lenore County, or throughout the region. So we want to make it that we have a destination area, a destination Kinston, destination, you know, tri-area, however, you know, our district. We want it to be destination. So, you know, you have no other reason, no other choice but to come, because we're the only ones that have what you're looking for. So we're excited about, you know, being able to be put in a position to do that. And I applaud our folks for, you know, advocating for industry every single day. You know, Mark Pope over there, you know, so we do appreciate him advocating for us, and the entire region. Trey Cash, you know, which is a big deal. You know, we all work together for the common good and betterment of industry in our particular city or town.
Can you tell me, if you're able to answer this, you know, what parts or part of Kinston do you think is seeing the most growth right now, and maybe where some other neighborhoods or areas you'd like to focus on in the years to come?
As it relates to homes, as you take a look at the Butterfield subdivision, is growing off of Hardy Road. Several homes have been built there. We have one or two other developers that are building homes here as well, strategically throughout Kinston, on the edge or county area. What we're seeing is the downtown area growing. More people are looking at downtown. More people are willing to create businesses downtown. And boutiques, I see a lot of boutique shops in our downtown area, which we are appreciative. Ice cream shops, Tundra Town, Sugar Hill Pizzeria. We have a new chop house downtown. The counter at Chef and the Farmer is open. Also, Jay's. So we have several folks that are looking at an opportunity either for food, bars, or shopping retail is what we're focused on. And also, the city's looking at the livability also for downtown area as it relates to being able to live, upstairs and be able to shop downstairs, so to speak. Looking at public-private partnerships that we could come up with, work with our county. We have a joint working committee that we've put together, so the city and county is working together to look at things that we could do together and make our downtown even better, or Kinston, Lenoir County as a whole even better. Special projects, that we're working on. So, and I'm actually on that working committee as well. So, we look forward for what is to come here in the very near future, and there's a lot ahead for Kinston.
One last question I have for you, and maybe this is part of making Kinston a destination, is we're keeping life in the Granger Stadium.
I'm excited about the Down East Bird Dawgs. Our new team here in Kinston, and we won the last several games. We started off kind of rough, but we're doing a great job, and I look forward to seeing folks come out. The opening game here, home game, was super fantastic. It was packed out, no parking, people were parking all over the place, and we were excited about that, and we look forward to continue that trend moving forward. And we appreciate folks coming to our city to see a baseball game, stay in our hotels, spending our money. We're excited about it always. So we look forward to a winning season, entertainment from our baseball team, the Bird Dawgs, and we look forward to them, to the players being able to have an opportunity to go professional. So we're here to see that, and we're here to see the growth, and we're excited about the stadium as a whole, the new scoreboard that we have, the new section that we have that was built. Thank you in connection with Lenoir Community College, Mother Earth Brewery. We're excited about that collaboration we have with the city and all those partners.